Hello everyone! People have been requesting I do more Clip Studio Paint tutorials, so that's what I'm going to do this week. This video is going to focus on the different tools in Clip Studio. I'm mostly just going to go over the basics, and maybe I'll go a little more in depth on certain tools in the future. So before we start, I want to mention that my layout may be a little different than yours. I'll tend to move tools around to where I want them. Also, I have some custom brushes and ones I've downloaded from the internet, so you may see some brushes that you don't have. Also, I'm using Clip Studio Paint EX, so if you're using one of the other versions like Debut or Pro, you may not have some of these tools. The first tool we have is the Zoom tool. You'll find it by pressing the slash key on the keyboard. This tool allows you to zoom in and zoom out on the canvas. To be honest, I never use this tool. I usually just use the scroll wheel on my mouse to zoom in and out. If you press this button, you can click and drag to zoom in and out, and if you press this button, you can select the area you want to zoom in on. Next up is the Move tool. You can use this tool to grab and drag the canvas, and this tool to rotate the canvas. I never use these tools either. I usually just use the buttons over here. Next is the Operation tool. I never really use this tool, so yeah, I don't really know what it does. Now we have the Selection tool. This tool is very handy and I use it a lot. You can find it by pressing M on the keyboard. There are many different selection tools. The first one lets you make a square or rectangle shaped selection. The Ellipse selector lets you make circular selections. The Lasso will let you create whatever shape you want. Polyline lets you make your own shapes, but only with straight lines. The Selection pen creates a green area and then creates a selection in that area you colored. Erase Selection lets you erase part of a selection. Just make sure to have this button pressed if you want to erase. Shrink Selection lets you draw around an object and then the selection will shrink to the size and shape of that object. There's one more thing I want to talk about with the selection tools, and that is these buttons. When you have this button selected, you can only create one selection at a time. When you have this one selected, you can create multiple selections. I usually have this button selected. This button allows you to deselect a part of a selection. And this last one lets you select inside of a selected area. I never really have to use this one. The Selection tool took a little while to explain, but now onto the Move tool. You can find it by pressing K on the keyboard. Basically, it lets you move things. I never use these two since I don't know what they are for. Next up is the Eyedropper tool. You can find it by pressing I on the keyboard. This lets you select colors. I never really changed the settings for the Eyedropper tool, so I'm going to skip over those. Next is the Magic Wand tool, one of my favorite tools. It's basically a selection tool, but it'll let you click in what area you want to select. Let's talk a little bit about the settings for it. These buttons do the same thing as the buttons for the selection tools. Next is Close Gap. If there is a gap in the area you're trying to select, this will close the gap in the selection. The higher you set this setting, the bigger the gap it will close. Color Margin is basically how different of shades of color the Magic Wand will select. So if I'm trying to select this pink area with the many different shades of pink, if this is set to the lowest, it will only select the color of pink I click on. But if I increase the number, it will select the other shades as well, because I am increasing the different shades that the Magic Wand will select. This is really handy when you want to select areas that aren't a flat layer of color. Area scaling can increase or decrease your selection size. I often have this set to increase my selection by 3 pixels because it helps me get rid of tiny white pixels when coloring. Multiple referring layers let you choose which layers you want the Magic Wand to select from. All layers will make it select from all layers. Reference layer will make it only select the layer you have set as a reference. Selected layer will make it only select from the layer you have selected, and layer and folder will make it only select layers from a folder you have selected. Also, there are different Magic Wand tools. I don't know the differences between them. I always just pick one and make it how I like it. Next we have the Pencil tool. You can find it by pressing P on the keyboard. I like to use the Pencil tool when sketching. There are many different pencil tools, but the settings are pretty similar for all of them. Brush size increases and decreases the size of the pencil. Brush density makes the pencil more and less see-through. If you press this plus button, we can see scale ratio. This changes the size of the texture. There's also stabilization, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Also, if you click this tab, you can get to the pastel tools. The settings for the pencil tool and pastel tools are pretty similar, so I'm not going to go over those. Next is the brush tool. You can find it by pressing B. Amount of paint changes the amount of paint on your brush. You can't tell the difference when using one color, but you can when you try to put one color on top of another. The lower the number, the less we can see the second color. Density of paint changes the density. The lower the number, the thinner the paint. Color stretch changes how different colors interact. If I have this all the way up, it will make the first color spread out and stretch a lot. If I lower the amount of paint and density, we can see I'm able to spread the first color. Brush density is similar to paint density. Oil paint has similar settings, and India ink has similar settings to the pen tool, so we'll talk about those there. Now we have the eraser tool. You can find it by pressing E on the keyboard. The hard eraser has a hard edge, the soft eraser has a soft edge. You can change the softness here. The lower it is, the softer the edge. I don't know the difference between the rough eraser and the hard eraser. I couldn't see how they were different. Vector I assume is for erasing on vector layers. I don't have much experience with vector functions of Clip Studio, so I'm not sure how to use it. Multiple layers lets you erase from many layers at a time. Lastly, the snap eraser snaps to rulers. We'll talk about rulers in a little bit. All of the other erasers kind of act like rulers don't exist when you are using them. Next is the pen tool. You can find it by pressing P on the keyboard. You may need to press P twice because the pencil tool also uses P. The different pen tools feel slightly different when you are using them, so you may want to play around to find which ones you like the most. I usually use the G pen. I like to use it for creating line art. The main settings I want to talk about for this tool are anti-aliasing and stabilization. Anti-aliasing slightly blurs the edges of your lines. The more anti-aliasing, the more it blurs. I usually have mine set at the second button. Next is stabilization. I didn't start using this until recently, and it has helped my line art so much. I wish I would have started using it earlier. Basically, it helps you create smoother lines by slowing down how fast you draw a line. I guess it just makes it feel more stabilized. I'm not totally sure how to explain it, but I really recommend trying it out because it has helped me a lot. Also, some pens, like the calligraphy pen, has a setting called direction. This changes the direction that the pen applies in. Now we have the airbrush tool. You can find it by pressing B. You may have to press it multiple times because multiple tools use B apparently. I mostly use the airbrush tool when shading and coloring because I like how simple it is and it doesn't like to interact with other colors on the canvas like the brushes do. The hard and soft brush tools are pretty self-explanatory. One is hard, one is soft. Highlight is set to a layer mode called Add. You can use it to add highlights. And shadow is set to a layer mode called Linear Burn. You can use it to add shadows. I never use these, but you may find that you like them, so you can try them out. Lastly is spray. The only features I want to point out are particle size and particle density. Particle size changes the size of the dots in the brush, and particle density changes how many and how close the dots are. Next is decoration. You can find it by pressing B multiple times. This is a fun brush that has many different patterns and effects. This brush has similar settings to previous tools I've talked about, so we can probably keep moving. Now we have the blend tool. You can find it by pressing J. The blend tool is nice when you want to blend things out or blur objects. Blend lets you drag colors into one another. The higher you have stretch set to, the more colors will drag. Blur lets you blur out objects. The higher you set intensity of blur, the more the brush will blur. Sometimes it will blur the object so much it disappears. Fingertip is like rubbing your finger into wet paint, I guess. Running color on fiber and soothing watercolor are like the blend tool but with a little bit of texture. There's this thing called copy stamp and I have no idea what that does. The paint bucket tool can be used to fill areas with color. It's pretty much like the magic wand tool, so let's keep moving. Next is the gradient tool. You'll find it by pressing G on the keyboard. This tool lets you create color gradients. I like to use it when adding lighting effects. If you slide these boxes, you can change where the color is in the gradient. If you double click, you can add another color to the gradient. In the shape section, you can change the shape of your gradient. Edge process changes how your gradient applies. Not repeat makes it apply once, repeat makes it apply multiple times, and reverse kind of makes it make stripes. Not draw will only go for as long as you make the line. I have no idea what contour line paint is for. Now we have the figure tool. You can find it by pressing U. I use the figure tool when creating shapes and sometimes in my line art. Straight line creates straight lines. Also, you can hold down Shift on the keyboard and make it so that the line is perfectly straight and not at an angle. Curve lets you create curved lines. Lasso Fill is like the lasso tool, but it automatically fills. Polyline lets you make shapes with straight lines, and Continuous Curve lets you make shapes with curved lines. Rectangle, ellipse, and polygon lets you create shapes. Line/fill changes how the shape is filled. Create Fill makes the shape filled. Create Line will only create the outline of the shape. And Create Both Line and Fill makes the shape filled and with an outline based on what colors you have selected here. If you hold down Shift, you can make a perfect square or circle. Streamline and Saturated Line lets you create comic book effects. I never use these, so I don't know much about them. Frame Border creates comic panels that you can't draw outside of when they are selected. I don't use this tool much, so I don't have much to say about it. Also, you can use Cut Frame Border to turn one panel into multiple panels. You know, I should probably start using these tools for my webcomic. Now we have the Ruler tool. This tool is kind of like using a ruler in real life. When you draw over a ruler, the tool you are drawing with will snap to the ruler. Just make sure to have this button turned on. With the different rulers, you can create different shapes. One of my favorite rulers is the symmetrical ruler. When you're drawing something on one side, it will draw it on the other side. Next is the Text tool. With this, you can type text. One thing that's kind of cool is that you can change the direction you want to type the text in. Many programs have text tools, so we'll probably keep moving. Now we have the balloon tool. You can find it by pressing T, possibly multiple times. With this one, you can create word balloons for comics. This tool works a lot like the ellipse tool in the figure section. Balloon tail and thought balloon tail lets you add a tail to your speech balloons. And last but not least, we have the correct line tool. This tool is more for the vector aspects of Clip Studio, and like I mentioned earlier, I don't know much about vector stuff. And with that, we are done! That is my overview of the tools in Clip Studio Paint. If you'd like me to go more in depth on certain tools, please let me know in the comments. There are also more advanced settings, and you can also customize tools, and I may talk about that in a future video if you want me to. Before I end this video, I want to say thank you so much to my patrons, including Rachel, Andrew, Zoantigia, Vani, Thean, Cash Money Matt, Julie, Nav from Academy of Games, Luziel, Robert, Tamalam, Pisatera, Timothy, Ann, Magic Gamer Dad, Eduardo, AJ, Volmarin, Adam, Narichan, Daniel, Panda Bear, Daniel, Aaron, and Patrick. Thank you so much for being a patron and for your support. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video and that it was helpful, and I'll see you all next week in my next video. Bye!